Hello, everyone. I wanted to start a new screen recording to kind of walk you through some of the things that we had discussed when we had our Zoom meetings, as well as some items that I have mentioned in the deck casts as well. So, if you go to classwork in Google Classroom, the first thing I want you to reintroduce yourself to is the DBQ Essay Graphic Organizer. You'll notice that I put the Unit 5 DBQ PDF into the graphic organizer. You should have your paper copies, but if you forgot them at school or have misplaced them, they are right here. Also, remember on your graphic organizer, you are taking all 6 documents. I know some classes we've been over this, we've reviewed them all, but other classes we might not have. And basically you're dividing whether the document is political or social, then labeling what world region it is in, focusing on the point of view and the major concept, and then thinking about the need. Remember, when you're thinking about the need, you should be taking the point of view and then thinking, what is an alternate point of view? The example in document 1 is that you have a British parliamentarian who is talking about the French Revolution, and he's posting or putting up the French Revolution as if it is a negative thing and congratulating the English form of government and how the English are behaving themselves as opposed to the French. So the point of view that you would need that is missing is, what did French people think? What would be the French alternative to that English point of view? And you would do this for all 6 documents, that basically you're thinking about the point of view and then the alternate point of view. Another way to think about it would be if the points of view would be the subject of that particular document, and that in that particular document the subject is talking about some object, then the need would be whoever the object was of that document. You'd have to be thinking, if they became, you turned it around and they became the subject, what would their point of view be about the same major concept? I hope that makes sense. Going back to Google Classroom, you also have the DBQ essay. Again, I have posted the Unit 5 DBQ in here. I'm going to scroll down and make sure that it is in there in its entirety, because I noticed when I showed you the other example, it was not. So you do have a full copy in Google Classroom, and then you have the DBQ essay. Just to review, again, the question is based on the accompanying documents, which are in that PDF I just opened. The documents have been edited for the purpose of this exercise. In your response, you'll be assessed on the following, and you have 4 bullet points. This is essentially the rubric that the scorer of your exam would be looking at if you had a DBQ essay on the exam. You want to respond to the prompt with a historically defensible thesis or claim. You want to describe it in a broader historical context, support the argument in response to the prompt using all but one of the documents. I have told you in the past, default and err on the side of overuse, meaning that you want to use all the documents that you've been provided with, just in the event that in case you misuse one or inappropriately use one, it doesn't apply to what you're arguing. If you make that mistake, well, you can afford that because you've used all the documents as opposed to all but one. And then you have to put an additional piece of specific historical evidence beyond that found in the documents relevant to an argument about the prompts. We will get to that later. So eventually, or essentially, you are evaluating the extent to which Enlightenment thought continued to influence political and social debates across the world throughout the period 1750 to 1900. Now, I know in one class I went over this thesis template, but not in both, so this may be novel information for some of you. Here is the thesis template. Enlightenment thought continued to influence political and social debates across the world throughout the period 1750 to 1900. That's a solid introductory sentence, but it is not a thesis because that is essentially stating something that you don't have to argue. Most historians would agree with you and say, yes, that is true. Enlightenment thought did continue to do that. What you want to make is a statement that is then, you could have somebody say, I'm not quite sure that's believable. Can you prove it to me? And that's when you say, although the political social debates, and here you're going to pick one. Political social debates such as and again, you're going to put in an example of a political or social debate. So it does not matter which one you choose here, but you need to choose political or social. And then they were a primary concern among the people. It was the Again, you're going to choose political and social. If you choose political here, you're choosing social here. Vice versa. If you choose social here, you are choosing political here. And then you put an example of each one. And again, you're saying that these prevailed among world disputes. So you were arguing that one was more prevalent than the other. So you'd say, yeah, political were important, but it was really the social issues. Or social were important, but it was really the political issues. Your choice, because you're deciding which one you're going to argue for. So in body paragraph 1, you want to start with the one that you were saying is not as important, because you still want to provide evidence for that one. So you're going to choose political or social, whichever one you put first. So if you said, although the political debates were important, the primary was social, then you're going to start by describing your political debates and then providing evidence using the documents to support those political debates. And again, you are minimizing their importance in that opening paragraph because you want to stress the importance of the other types of documents in body paragraph 2. I have one other document to share with you. All right, I have not posted this in Classroom yet, but here are some examples of social issues and political issues that you could put into your thesis statement. So you could say, although social issues like women's rights were important, it was the political issues such as consent of the governed and separation of powers that were, the prevailing importance throughout the world. And again, you can say it wasn't political, it was social, or it wasn't social, it was political. That is entirely your choice. For now, that's all I'm going to share with you. The expectation would be that you at least solidify that thesis statement. I will start talking to you next week when I meet with you as classes in Zoom to talk about how we move forward with those body paragraphs. So that's it for now. I think because I couldn't find this original document, this screencast will be a little bit choppy, so I apologize for that, but I think that's going to do it. Please email me if you have any questions, and take care.